Hey everybody, we're here with Etienne de la Boetie², and he argues that government is the biggest scam in history. He's got a little booklet here making this case. He's a voluntaryist, so we thought we'd ask him why. So Etienne, tell us, why is government the biggest scam in history?
Because it's impossible to delegate rights that you don't have yourself to a representative to represent you doing something that you don't have the ability to do yourself. You can't be bound by a social contract that you didn't sign. And if there was two of us and one of you and we voted for you to give us all of your money, that would be immoral and illegitimate. And it doesn't matter if there's 3 of us or 10 of us or 250 million. Nothing can take something that is immoral and make it moral just because the mob wants to vote for it in a rigged election.
Well, but I can delegate rights that I do have, right? If I can protect my own property, then I can hire a sheriff to protect my property, right?
So you get to hire a private company because you have the ability to protect your life, liberty, and property. And when that private protective service shows up, he only has the rights that you do. He doesn't have the right to arrest you for smoking a plant that he disagrees with, or not wearing a seatbelt, or if you're in the middle of a poker game, he can't arrest you for gambling. And that is the big secret of voluntaryism, which I like to call the only ism that's fair for everybody, is that the world is a self-organizing system. It produces spontaneous order, and everything that the government does, from armed protective services to dispute resolution to air traffic control to the roads, could be better done more cheaply, more effectively by free enterprise, by mutual aid societies, by real charity. And if we didn't have a crooked monetary system that was stealing the value out of everybody's money through fractional reserve banking, and we weren't taking half of people's income in overt taxes and covert taxes, then people would be incredibly more wealthy than they are right now, and there would be more than enough surplus to take care of the poor, the needy, and the disadvantaged.
Well, how does that square with the biblical argument that God ordained civil government for the purpose of punishing evil? Can you be a Christian and a voluntarist at the same time?
I know lots of Christians that are voluntarists, I don't think that God intended people to vote to rob their neighbors. I don't think that God intended for people to be chumped by an organized crime system using kind of classic cult indoctrination techniques to slide the population statism as a kind of pseudo-indoctrinated religion within the schools, and to compete with the Lord for what is, idolatry, and what is, a kind of cult system where the flag is the artificial holy symbol. The Bill of Rights and the Constitution are the holy documents. Children go to a church school, a mandatory church school, the public school system, where the priest, the teacher, teaches them the common prayer of the Pledge of Allegiance and makes them sing the hymns. And they take the kids in 8th grade to Mecca, Washington, D.C., where they are taken into the cathedral of the Capitol that looks like the Vatican for a reason. And then they're taken into the temples and they're shown the deities, where the judges wear vestments. And so these are unethically manipulative techniques that produce a true believer willing to tithe his income. And so they're running a kind of unethically manipulative game, and that's what we expose in government, the biggest scam in history.
Okay, but I understand where you're coming from, but are you saying all government is illegitimate? What if it's a government where people don't vote to steal other people's stuff? What if it's a government that just exists to protect life, liberty, and property? Is that incompatible with what you are advocating?
Well, no, that'd be governance, and governance is fine. And governance is really the difference between the HOA and your local government. In the HOA, you know what you're getting into, and you're voluntarily consenting to abide by the rules of the community. Whereas monopoly government says, oh, because you were born in this particular geographic location, we now have the ability to steal your money and make up rules for you, even if you don't consent, even if you didn't sign the social contract, even if you think the whole thing is a scam.
Interesting. And so you would abolish government entirely then, huh? But what would prevent somebody from just hiring extra militia guys and then becoming the new government? How would you prevent a tyranny from emerging in the vacuum of no government?
So, like I said, because you have the ability to protect your life, liberty, and property, you can hire an armed protective service company to exercise that right on your behalf. But the armed protective service company doesn't have any rights that you don't. And so if somebody was going to form an armed gang that was going to go out and rob people, then there's a lot of security companies, I think, that would like to make their name and their reputation by putting that down. And I don't think that people within a geographical area would put up with that either. I would be myself eager to arm up and put an end to that post haste. And so I don't think that would really happen. I think what we need to do is we need to begin having a discussion about, the fact that government is illegitimate, and how are we going to roll it back, and how are we going to begin privatizing these services. Detroit Threat Management is a good example. I'm sure you're familiar with them and what they do in Detroit. They're a private protective service company that provides security to neighborhoods and businesses in Detroit, and they're doing a better job than the government at a reasonable price for the businesses that they serve. Why can't that be nationwide? Why can't we have competition between ADT, Brinks, and West Tech to see which armed protective services company has the lowest rates of crime and protects people the best?
Very good, Etienne. Where can people get this government, the biggest scam in history?
So at government-scam.com.
Government-scam.com. Thank you very much.
The biggest red pill at the Red Pill Expo.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Alex Newman here at the Red Pill Expo with Etienne de la Boetie². Stay tuned for more.